on one of the last mental health thing that you did, and I was so impressed with how Tony Thomas introduced her. I asked her if I could do that again. She's a mainstay, I guess. Quite commonly, it's quite often you spend time in the mayor's office here. And in fact, she's in there so much, Tony said she's got her own cup in the mayor's office, right? But I loved what Tony said, is when Shalinda walks in the room and she tells those that govern our city, here's what you can get on board with us about, right? In other words, she just walks in and takes over and I think that comes because she's so passionate about what God's called her to do. And it is to help the homeless here in Jonesboro. And I admire that. And I know I know when God looks down, he gets a big old smile looking at you and just observing on how you share his name. And so, but we appreciate you being here tonight. Everybody give it up for Shalinda Woolbright.
All right, so I know how to command a room. I just need you to know I'm not your normal speaker. I'm loud, really loud. So my name is Shalinda Woolbright, and I am the executive director and founder of NEA Divine Intervention. Pastor Jeff got it right. I do help the homeless, but my main focus is helping others that suffer from substance use disorder and mental health issues. And so we do a lot of work. We do wraparound services. So it don't matter what they walk in with. If they got a problem, we try to help them. So we have a women's sober living, and we just opened up a men's sober living. But I need to let you know that I didn't start out that way. I didn't start out helping people. See, I was a leech. I was a person that took stuff from people all the time. You know, I was just sitting back there thinking that, I remember, it's so crazy because I want to thank you because you don't even know what you just did for me. Like, even though I trust God, I've been running from God. And on the way here, I heard him say that, you know, it was people that hurt you, and you turned your back on me. And so it was the people in the church that hurt me, but I blame God. And so I got real emotional, and I really have been, you know, kind of like politely declining requests to come and speak. But I feel like God is moving me to another level, so I can't deny it. And so I'm here tonight to tell you that I haven't always been this person. That I never wanted to use drugs. I never grew up and said I was going to become a dope fiend. I always looked at other people and I said I would never use. But life took a whole nother route. And so I met a man. I don't know about y'all, but I met a man, and, you know, I really liked him. And he introduced me, and when he introduced me, man, it made me feel better than I ever felt. It took me away from my present reality. It made me feel like I was invisible. And so, yes, I started with one substance, and then after a while, it went to another substance, and then it went to another substance. I'm not going to talk about the problem. I'm going to talk about the solution, but I'm going to tell you what the problem did. Before I got clean, man, I had lost my kids to DHS 4 times. I had been to jail. My record is 29 pages long. I'm a high school dropout. Not only that, I'm a bitch and violator, so I shouldn't have a license to this day. I owe $22,000 on a judgment, let alone the restitution. Why get clean? Why do something different? I had already dug a hole that was so deep it looked like it was impossible to come out of clean. So why do something different? Because I was so sick and tired of being sick and tired that I wanted to do something different. I just didn't know how. My pride, I'm going to tell you my number one problem. It was my pride. Because, see, I always went to these institutions and I wanted to put on this fake persona like I had it all together. But I was tore up from the floor up in the inside. Somebody called me a dressed up garbage can. Like I looked good on the outside, but I was tore up from the floor up in the inside because of all that garbage, because of all that stuff that I suppressed. You know, I had to do something different. And this time around, see, I had been to institutions like several different times. I just told you that my kids been taken 4 different times. I just told you that the PO, the drug test me. You know, he getting ready to send me back to prison again. I mean, all the things. The man getting ready to leave me. My family tired of my bull, you know. I mean, so I had to do something different. But I didn't know how to do anything different. So this last time, I went to treatment. And I decided to say, I don't know how to do it. I don't know how to stay clean. Because I used for so long that I forgot how to live. I forgot how to do basic things. Like I couldn't have a normal conversation. I couldn't apply for no job. I don't know about you guys, but every time I got stressed and every time I got overwhelmed and every time I had any type of fear, the first thing I did was I ran. I gave up. But man, I was so sick and tired of being sick and tired that I wanted something different, and I finally said I don't know how to do it. And 30 days is not enough for me. See, because I used for years. So I needed something longer than 30 days. I needed to learn how to change my patterns. I needed to learn how to change my coping mechanism. I needed to learn something new. I needed to replace that old behavior. And every single time I got out of jail, I got out of prison, I went to that same old environment. And guess what happened? I became a product of that environment. I needed something different. So this time around, when I asked for help, when I humbled myself and said that I didn't know how to do it, isn't that kind of crazy though? How you go to a detox, a 30-day treatment, a 6-month program, and you want to act like you got it all together and you're in a program. You know what I'm saying? Like, I want to act like, I have a bachelor's degree, but I smoke meth. but I have to laugh at myself because that's what I used to do. I used to always act like, I would go in there. My mama said that I looked like Deaf Playmate. I don't know about y'all. Maybe y'all was thick by the time y'all got to treatment. But every time I went up in there, I acted like I was the most intelligent, the most bright. And it wasn't that I wasn't, but I didn't know how to stay clean. I didn't know how to stop using drugs. Like I needed to learn how to stop using drugs, and I needed somebody to help me to stop. And so when I finally asked for help, when I humbled myself and I put my pride to the side, which was my number one problem, somebody decided to grab me by the hand and show me. And let me tell you, I'm not sitting here telling you it was easy. Because they told me I needed to change one thing about me, and that was everything. How can you tell me that I got to change everything about me? Look, every time I went to jail, went to treatment, went to detox, every time I came home, my family threw a cookout. I don't know about you guys. I don't know what y'all do with y'all cookouts, but at our cookouts, I was in there trying to teach them about y'all. One is too many, 1,000 is never enough. You don't pick up, you won't get high. And eventually I say, give me one. And I use. See, I didn't believe that I had to change my people, places, and things. I didn't believe, I thought I was different. I didn't think I really had a problem. You know what I'm saying? Because I like using. I still like using to this day. I just don't like the consequences. Like the consequences make me feel ashamed. It make me feel that guilt. It made me feel all of those different feelings that I gotta go and get high just so I can keep feeling those feelings again. So anyway, I get into treatment this time around, and I did something different. They told me, they said, Shalette, I need for you to write down how you feel when you want to use. How do I feel when I want to use? So I don't know about you guys, but I get real antsy. And I get real frustrated, especially if you ever been around somebody you can't use around. You know what I'm saying? Like it's just like, so I get real antsy, I get real frustrated, I get real sarcastic. You know what I'm saying? I start popping off a little bit, and I want to isolate and all the things. And I remember right before I was in this facility, I was in this faith-based organization called Graceway, and this particular morning I woke up. It was on a Thursday, and it was close to the weekend, and it was close to the first of the month. And see, my body knows when I used to use. You know what I'm saying? I don't know about y'all, but at first I started out on the weekends. And then next thing you know, I went to Sunday. And then next thing you know, I went the whole week. And then next thing you know, I was just addicted. I couldn't stop using, And so on a Thursday, I caught all those feelings I was just talking about. And I was like, man, what's wrong with me? God, what's wrong with me? And I was walking through and I was snapping on the people. They was like, good morning. I was like, ugh. I didn't say that, but You know, I'm here, praise the Lord. but you know, and I just was so angry and so frustrated. I went to the refrigerator like 4 times, and I opened it and slammed the door, and opened it and slammed the door, and you know, I just couldn't figure out what was wrong with me. And I went back outside and I prayed, and I was like, God, you got to show me what's wrong with me. And I went back in, and I had this list that I had came up with. It was on the refrigerator. I wanted to use. That thought didn't come to my mind. Go use, Shalenda. Go and pick up. Like, I didn't think about that. Like, what happened was it used feelings, something that I'm not used to. I don't know about you guys, but I'm not used to feeling anger, frustration. I mean, I can feel it, but I'm not used to identifying my feelings. But I was in a program to help me identify my feelings, and when I realized it, I was like, man, I want to use. If you think about it, it's on a Thursday. It's close to the weekend. It's the first of the month. I used to trick everybody out their money on the first of the month. I mean, y'all probably ain't do that, but I can tell you this, man. It hasn't been easy getting here. I came from a small country town in Georgia. I moved out when I was like 14 years old. I had my first kid at 15. My first drug of choice was men. I was looking for love in all the wrong places. I wasn't taught certain basic things, and I have learned a lot since I've been in recovery, and I'm still learning today. But what I do know today is that I want to give back what was so freely given to me. Somebody loved me. They loved me enough to teach me a new way to live. Not only teach me a new way to live, but to act like a woman, to be a mama, like to be a productive member of society. Like, they taught me how to do these things. Like, I didn't just come up in here doing this. Like, I came from the hood. I know y'all can tell it's still in there just a little bit, you know. I mean, she come out every 90, but I mean, I'm getting better. But I mean, you know, I wasn't groomed this way. And God is still grooming me. You know, I mean, I was sitting back there thinking that, you know, I never knew that people prayed for me. You know how I found out people prayed for you? I was in prison. And I was the last one in the TV room, and Creflo Dollar came on the TV, and he said, you know, the only reason you living today is because somebody prayed for you. I never knew that. So I stand here before you today is because somebody is praying for me. And not only you guys are out here today because somebody has prayed for you. Everything that I lost that I told you guys about was that, you know, I've been to prison, the restitution, the judgment, my kids, my education, I have one by one regained. I went back to school and got my education. I got my kids, and I am a great mother today, like a great mom. I actually just got my son a new car today. Pray for me because I'm still dealing with that one. But I got my license back. I paid off all of that restitution. I paid off all of that judgment, which was $22,000. How can somebody like me pay off $22,000? You know, boy, anyway, we ain't gonna talk about that one. But my whole life has changed today, one day at a time, 1 minute at a time, 1 second at a time. And if I can do it, you guys can do it. So I was telling you that I can only keep what I have by giving it away. When I got clean, I had 3 kids. And I didn't know how to be a mom. And then I would take these kids to recovery meetings, and they was off the chain. When I say off the chain, they was off the chain. But these women, they grabbed me, and they said that you didn't know how to act, so these kids don't know how to act. So they took care of my kids as well as taking care of me. So today, man, we're in the process of, we just got this new property in Turl, Arkansas. I know y'all probably don't know where that is. But I didn't know. That's why I said I'm being funny. But and our goal is we have a foundation house where we take in women, and then we're going to have a program for women and children. I am going to be able to give back what was so freely given to me, like in a safe environment. You know what I'm saying? Like, I mean, y'all, I don't know if y'all really get that. I got clean, and they gave me back 3 kids. They didn't give me no unsupervised visits. Like, they was like, here, get your kids. You know what I'm saying? I had no coping skills, and I could not use. You feel me? Like I was at home and the only thing I had was a program and I had these different people in my life, you know what I'm saying, that I can call. And I didn't know how to be a mom. Like I would scream at my kids. You feel me? Like I'm talking about like scream to the top of my lungs when they did something. Like these boys, and I got all boys. I don't know if it's any difference, but they would bust the milk, knock holes in the wall, knock the lamp over, you know. And I would just, Argh! And I mean, I just did not know how to be a mom. And so to be able to give back to women with children in a safe environment and to get them connected to a support network, you know what I'm saying, with a family of people, just like the family that I had, that's a big thing. That's a big deal. You know, so I'm so excited about that because I wanted to use on many occasions. I mean, I don't know if y'all men get this, and I'm not saying that you don't, and many of you do, but them kids, boy, that's how, you know, and then they was like doorsteps too, you know what I'm saying? They wasn't like teenagers, they was like 1, 2, 3, you know, and everybody wanted to say, mama, 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 you know, and I had to say, I couldn't tote nothing, couldn't take a pull of nothing, couldn't go around the corner. You know, I couldn't do none of that. Like, I had to literally face this. And then I would talk to them any type of way, and I would feel guilty. And so one day I was at a meeting, and this guy said, what if your child grow up and marry you? That's what changed the way I talk to my kids. Because if anybody would talk to my babies the way that I was talking to them, I would commit murder. And so it forced me to look at my own behavior. My time is almost up. Pastor Jeff said he didn't want to do this to me. So I don't know. What I can tell you is that I am living the best life I have ever lived, and I'm able to remember it. Not only that, I am able to help other women and men just like me. And I love helping some days. I love it. But no, I'm being serious. Because I came from a small town where there was no resources. None. I went to jail so many times that this is how I found out about recovery. I went to jail so many times. Every time I went to court, I always went to the 2 to 5 years department section. And everybody else went to 2 to 5 months section. And so I finally asked the question, why do they have the same charge I have, but they keep going to 2 to 5 months, getting 2 to 5 months? And they said, well, they got a drug problem. And I was like, what? Me too. I mean, that's how I found out about recovery. That's how I found out about programs. Like I never knew. And so that's why I do what I do today, man. I want to spread the message. I want to recover out loud. I want everybody to know that recovery is available and it is possible for us all. We do not have to die in silence because I was dying in silence. And nobody understood. Nobody understood. The only thing they wanted to say, they was like, be strong, Shalinda. Be strong. Being strong is like having diarrhea. Can you hold it in? I'm not going to look at Pastor Jeff. I'm just going to, but I mean, you know, I suffered so long by myself. Help is available. And man, now you have in churches embrace recovery. That is beautiful. I don't know. I love you guys, and that's all I got. So.
Now I told her I wasn't about to stop her.